And here are the best lessons from the book The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. The first lesson from Arkad is to pay yourself first. Arkad says that this sounds so simple, but only few people do this. It means to save 1/10 of your income every month. No matter if you earn 600, 2000, 5000, no matter if it's dollars, euros or shekels. If you earn $2,000 a month, the first thing you have to do when you get it is to put away 10%, which is $200. This is your payment. This is what you pay yourself. Arkad said that you might think, but isn't all the money I earn mine? But his answer is, no it doesn't. A huge part of the money you earn belongs to the people who sell you the hay for the donkey that drags your cart. Or to the people who own the real estate you are living in and pay rent to. Or in today's world, the money you earn often belongs to the mobile phone company because you need that to call your friends. Or to the car insurance company if you drive a car. And of course to the internet provider that you need to watch this YouTube video. You have signed a contract with them, and in that contract you promise to give money to them every month. So not all of the money you earn is yours. The government knows this law very well, that's why you have to pay them first, even before you get your $2,000 paycheck. This is what we call income taxes. So save 10% at the beginning of the month, not at the end. This is the first thing you should do when you get your paycheck. There will be...
What's up, family? All right, so now it's time to dig a little deeper into personal finance. So this is the first of many videos I'm going to be bringing you around how to begin to change our mindset about how we think about money. Now, this book here is a game changer, and it has, like, honestly, it seems so simple. It seems like one of those books, kind of like The Alchemist, or one of those esoteric type things to where you don't think that it's tangible, but you could not be more wrong, right? The Richest Man in Babylon. I listened to the audiobook. Now you can get the audiobook, you can get the paperback version, you can get the hard copy and stuff, but it's less than $10, guys. But in this book, he touched on the first lesson. So, and obviously I'm going to put the link to the full video in the description, right? But I just wanted to kind of show you this animated version. So, like, imagine this. If you haven't already been saving, if saving money, building wealth, investing in yourself, if some of those things have been on your mind, right, but you've never gotten around to it, the way that this book puts it into story form is back in like the BC times and stuff, because it talks a lot about things that are not necessarily on the surface seems like it applies to today, but it does, guys. The very first thing that I had to do, the hardest thing for me, was to start to save money for myself, right? I can't explain it when it comes to the kids. I can spend money on that. Bills, gotcha. Dinner, fast food, Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, whatever. Like, I can do that with ease. And I have a big family. So every time I go out, or every time we go out, it's minimum $75 to $80. So it's like $80. If we go to Zaxby's and everybody get a meal, it's like $80, $85. If we go to Taco Mac, if we go to Red Lobster, if we go to, it could be somewhere like Buffalo Wild Wings. So I'm not talking about Benihana's or, Papa Do's. I'm not talking about those places. Obviously, that's going to be in the $200 and $300 range, because we have done that before too. But I'm talking about a normal outing, Mellow Mushroom, Taco Mac, Buffalo Wild Wings, something that's kind of, it could be PF Chains. Hell, it can be Panda Express. We spending $75 to $80 minimum, right? And I can do this with ease. But when it came time to me to save money for myself, I would do it. It was like the last thing that I did at the end of the month, when everything else was spent, after taxes had already been taken out, after I paid bills, after we had a family day, after the kids got new shoes. Maybe I had to replace a washing machine, get the oil change, and then I would have like, $50 left, and I try to save that or something. But recently, so what I did, I started this about 6 months ago. I was putting up 15% of every dollar that I made, right? I had about 5% going into my 401k. Well, I have a Roth 401k, and we'll kind of dive into what the differences is between a Roth 401k, a Roth IRA, a traditional 401k, a 403b, all that. So we'll talk about all those type of things, right? But essentially, I was saving about 5% out of my paycheck every 2 weeks, and my company was matching that, right? So that was about 9%. So they match up to 4.5%, right? So that was about 10%. So I was saving that. I had another 10% going into the company employee stock purchase program. So I was buying stock from the company at a 15% discount. And I think I bought in at like $40 and some change. And by the time that I cashed that in recently in January, right, from saving 3, 4, 5, 900 sometimes on my commission checks, it will be 10% of my net pay that I was saving for. So I was really saving about 15 to 20%. And once I cashed that out in 6 months, I bought stocks for 3,500. I end up selling those stocks for $5,000, and really it was like 5,500. And so I made like a $2,000 profit. That 5,500, I used that to pay down like 4 or 5 different credit cards. Right now, on the flip side, I was still able to save another 2,500 because I was started putting up an additional 10%. So when we break down budgets and stuff like that, the reason why this is important, because when you get your money, a lot of our paychecks are already spent. Maybe we got rent coming up, car note, insurance, cell phone bill. Don't get me fucking started on cell phone bill. Like AT&T is ridiculous, right? So cell phone bills, maybe cable, Netflix, subscriptions, whatever the case may be, a lot of our paychecks are already allocated and they're already spent. So the reason why it's important to save first, because you're like, it kind of falls in line with wellness, taking care of yourself. It shows high self-esteem because you're willing to put up money for you. It's extremely important. Now, obviously, once you start to make that a habit after you've been doing it for a few months and stuff, you can then like reallocate that money towards investments. But for right now, we're not talking about investment. We're just talking about building the muscle of paying yourself first before anybody else get paid. Guys, at times, I was saving that 10%. Let me talk to you. I was saving that 10%, and I would have to find a way to maybe go drive DoorDash or something, or I would have to find like a side hustle to pay a bill, to pay the electricity bill, to pay the gas bill. Now you might think, man, Rock, you crazy, bro. Like, why would you do that? Man, I wanted to build the habit of putting myself first, right? If I had to make a payment arrangement, and if I had to, you know what I'm saying, drop down the cell phone coverage, maybe we don't need unlimited everything or whatever. I was willing to do, and I still am willing to do whatever I need to, for one, to save money for myself, to start to build up my net worth, to eliminate debt, to pay down debt as fast as possible. And then ultimately, once I get the debt cleared up, right now I'm working on my emergency fund. I'm probably about almost 45 to 50% done. So I got about almost 3,000 saved. And my emergency fund is going to be $6,000, which is like 1 month worth of expenses. So I got that almost there, right? But since this time too, guys, I've paid off like $15,000 to $17,000 worth of debt at the same time. So I've literally, so I look at paying off debt as paying yourself first too. It's part of it. So I've been clearing up the debt. And so I've been, okay, let me take a step back. I've been saving money for myself in my retirement and in my emergency fund. I've also been increasing my income. I've been eliminating debt, and I'm acquiring new skills to take my earning ability up even higher, because the biggest asset that you have is your ability to earn. Okay, so we're going to break down some of the principles in The Richest Man in Babylon, and we're going to tie it full circle and bring it all together. But the very first lesson is to get in the habit of paying yourself first, minimum 10%. Personally, I do 20%. I'll break down my budget in another video, but at least start with 10%. I don't give a damn if you make $600 a week, $300 a week, $2,500 a month, $4,000 a month, whatever it is. I want you to start saving minimum 10% of everything that you earn. And what you're going to learn is, once you get used to it, most of that stuff, like, okay, let me ask you this. Have you ever ended up at the end of the month and maybe you got paid twice or four times, whenever your pay period is, and you don't know where your money went? You went out, maybe you did a couple of things, went out with some friends, took a trip, took a flight here, picked up a new pair of shoes or whatever. If you don't track your money, I promise you, there's so many places that you could spend it. I made that comment when I went back to my hometown because they're sort of building it up. And what I noticed is I said, God damn, there's a lot of places to spend money. It's more places to spend money than it is to make money. I'm going to say that again. There's more places to spend money than there is to make money. Nobody is going to change your mindset around money and your relationship with money but you. And I'm going to do my part. Like I said, we're going to start breaking down these principles. This is the first one. A recap. The first one is to pay yourself first. Now, your homework assignment is go and get the book.